from Albania to Yemen, from Algeria to Iraq. What do all these countries have in common? They were all once part of one of the most powerful and longest-lasting empires in world history, the Ottoman Empire. For over 600 years, its influence stretched across 3 continents, shaping the course of history in ways we still feel today. But how did this mighty empire rise to such incredible heights, and what ultimately led to its dramatic fall? Let's travel back to the late 13th century, to a small Anatolian state led by a chieftain named Osman I. It was from these humble beginnings that the Ottoman Empire was born. Osman and his successors were ambitious and skilled military leaders. They began expanding their territory, piece by piece, fueled by a powerful army known as the Janissaries. Their conquests were relentless. They pushed into southeastern Europe and across Anatolia. But the ultimate prize, the jewel of the Byzantine Empire, was Constantinople. For centuries, its legendary walls had repelled countless invaders. But in 1453, a young sultan, Mehmed II, achieved the impossible. Using massive cannons, his forces breached the walls and conquered the city. Constantinople was renamed Istanbul and became the new, magnificent capital of the Ottoman Empire. This single event sent shockwaves across the world, marking the end of the Middle Ages and signaling the arrival of a new global superpower. The Ottomans now controlled the crossroads of Europe and Asia, and their rise was just beginning. With Istanbul as their capital, the Ottomans entered a golden age. The empire reached its absolute zenith under the reign of one man, Suleiman the Magnificent, ruling from 1520 to 1566. Suleiman's era was a symphony of power, culture, and law. His armies were feared across Europe, pushing the empire's borders to their farthest extent. From the gates of Vienna in the north to the deserts of Arabia in the south, and across the North African coast, the Ottoman navy, under the legendary Admiral Barbarossa, dominated the Mediterranean Sea. But Suleiman was more than just a conqueror. He was a great patron of the arts and architecture. He commissioned the brilliant architect Mimar Sinan to build breathtaking mosques, bridges, and palaces that still stand today, defining the skyline of Istanbul and other cities. Suleiman also reformed the legal system, creating a comprehensive code of laws that earned him the title the lawgiver. During his reign, the Ottoman Empire wasn't just a military juggernaut. It was a vibrant center of science, art, and commerce, a true global crossroads where cultures from east and west met and mingled. This was the peak, a time when the Ottoman Sultan was arguably the most powerful man on earth. But as with all great empires, what goes up must eventually come down. After the golden age of Suleiman, a long, slow decline began to set in. This wasn't a sudden collapse, but a gradual decay that lasted for centuries. A series of less capable sultans followed, leading to political instability and court intrigue. The famed Janissary Corps, once the empire's elite fighting force, became a source of internal strife, often rebelling and interfering in politics. Economically, the empire started to fall behind a rapidly industrializing Europe. New sea routes discovered by European powers bypassed the traditional land routes controlled by the Ottomans. Draining a vital source of wealth, militarily, the empire began to suffer significant defeats. The failure at the Siege of Vienna in 1683 marked a turning point. From then on, the Ottomans were mostly on the defensive, slowly losing territory in the Balkans to rising powers like Austria and Russia. By the 19th century, the empire was known as the sick man of Europe, a once mighty giant now struggling to hold its vast multi-ethnic territories together against the forces of nationalism and foreign intervention. The final act came in the early 20th century. In a desperate bid to regain lost glory and territory, the Ottoman Empire made a fateful decision. It sided with the Central Powers Germany and Austria-Hungary in World War I. This proved to be a catastrophic mistake. The war was brutal and devastating, The empire fought on multiple fronts, from the deserts of the Middle East against the British and their Arab allies, to the Caucasus Mountains against Russia. After 4 years of grueling conflict and immense losses, the Central Powers were defeated. The Ottoman Empire lay in ruins, its territories occupied by the victorious Allied powers. The Sultan was a mere puppet. It seemed the empire was destined to be carved up and dissolved. But from the ashes of defeat, a new movement arose. A brilliant and determined military commander named Mustafa Kemal Ataturk rallied the Turkish people. He led the Turkish War of Independence, fighting against occupying forces and the Sultan's government. His victory was decisive. In 1922, the Sultanate was abolished, ending 623 years of Ottoman rule. A year later, the Republic of Turkey was officially proclaimed, with Ataturk as its first president. The sick man of Europe was finally laid to rest. But the fall of the empire didn't just create one new nation. It redrew the map of the world. A vast mosaic of modern countries emerged from its former lands. In Europe, nations like Greece, Bulgaria, Serbia, Albania, and Bosnia and Herzegovina reclaimed their sovereignty. In the Middle East, the territories were carved into states like Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, Jordan, and what would become Israel and Palestine, largely under British and French control. In North Africa, countries like Egypt, Libya, and Tunisia, which had long been under Ottoman influence, eventually gained full independence. The legacy is immense. From the legal codes and architectural marvels to the complex political boundaries and lingering conflicts of today. The shadow of the Ottoman Empire is long. It was an empire that for centuries defined a huge part of our world. Its story is a powerful reminder of how even the mightiest powers can rise, flourish, and ultimately give way to the relentless march of history. Thank you for watching. If you found this journey through history fascinating, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more stories that shaped our world. See you next time.